Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with your hosts, Larry and Stevie. Stevie, I don't know why. I don't know why.
I know why you're doing that voice. Because you're not Larry. You are...
I am imposter Larry.
You're not Barry White. You're the walrus of the podcast.
I'm Larry White. No, wait, that's a real person.
I love
Larry
it.
White, that's pretty cool, actually. Oh, Larry Barry, which one? Brilliant. Hey, look, I have to say, right, I appreciate being, like, my voice being compared to one of the best singers of all time in Barry White, but I appreciate it, I really do.
That's why you just sound like Baron Greenback from whatever it was called. Was it fucking Danger Mouse?
All right, okay, well, look, how are you doing?
How many voices we can do tonight in certain languages?
I'm not doing the whole dream thing again, by the way.
I love that. I was sat listening to it today, actually.
I'm not doing it, I promise. No, anyway, shit, I almost forgot why we're here. Real Arsenal Talk. That's right.
Really here?
Look at notes, there we go. Stevie.
Shit notes, what are them?
Oh, what?
Look,
shit notes?
Fuck me, I'm sure I'm fucking supposed to have done some. Go on, I'll just have to make it up again.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I literally wrote 3 notes. 3 notes just before we went online.
Listen, we're 1 minute 50 in, and I'm sure it's going to say like 1 hour.
I'm sure. Yeah, and it's a limit of 1 hour and 16, 1 hour and 14 as we speak, by the way.
Let's aim for 35.
Okay. 35 what? 135? That's crazy. We don't have enough space, Stevie. I don't have enough SD cards. Okay, all right. I think we're on. Look, obviously, we're a day removed from the Champions League semi-final first leg. And Stevie, initial thoughts, my friend. Initial thoughts. Just let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Rawly.
Initial thoughts were... I meant to text you actually at about 5 minutes to go, and I was going to sort of ask the whole group, well, all the Arsenal supporters anyway, happy with the draw, or disappointed that it should have been more because of what happened with the penalty. But I think overall, I'm a bit disappointed. But going to Madrid, I thought, I think I'm more disappointed than happy. But at the same time, I'm 60-40. I don't know about yourself. That's quite confusing and contradictory. But
no, that makes sense. It makes sense what you're saying. Like, and I can understand why someone would say it's disappointing, and especially after the match finished, it was definitely something there. But at the end of the day, I just like I said in the message last night, I didn't see anything from Madrid to put any fear into me personally as a fan, and I just don't think the players had any sort of fear playing against them, to be honest. Yes, of course they had their chances because they do have some good attacking players. Alvarez is a dangerous player, and that guy can shoot from anywhere, and sometimes he doesn't even have backlift when he shoots, and it's like he's just an incredible player. If he was taller, by the way, he would be the perfect guy. But anyway, so they did have the chances, but I feel like coming into North London, I feel like we've got enough with the players that we even fielded. Last night, we've got enough to shut this tie down. But yeah, I can understand why you'd say it's disappointing. And to be disappointed, I feel like if it was chances that we missed, but in this instance, there was a couple of referee decisions that just didn't, or VAR decisions that didn't go our way. So yeah, obviously, yes, that's disappointing. But overall, no, I think, yeah, it was good. Obviously, I would have been happy with the 1-0, of course, whatever. But 1-1, yeah, and like I said, I just don't think there's anything from Madrid that's sort of gonna do anything in North London. You know what I mean? They're probably going to try and go trying to go all out attack. There we go. I got the words. And I think we're too powerful on the counter. I think we've got enough players on the counter to finish. And I feel like if Eze starts and Saka starts and Odegaard, like with Eze on the same pitch, I feel like that there's enough there. But anyway, so yeah, initial thoughts. I like the fact that we're different. We're on different sides. It's very rare but it happens.
I think what I'm trying to say sometimes is that performance is what we've been used to every single week, really, where it looks like the opposition can score. It looked like Atletico Madrid could have scored. There was mistakes in our defence. They cut through us, but most teams in the Premiership cut through us like that. Look up. I mean, I don't want to name individual teams, but I've come on here many a time and thought, we've played shit, and if it wasn't for either a great tackle or a great save by Raya, then we could have, the result could have been different. And I felt as though Madrid didn't cause us that many problems, and we were in control. And even when we did score the penalty and we went in front, it was I just think that is us all season through and through. That where opposition can hurt us, but we can hurt them. It's not like Man City or any dominating Premiership team of the past sort of 5 to 10 years have looked where they're completely in control. I just feel as though it was just one of those games, like swings and roundabouts. It was end to end, and I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but if you know what I mean, like they had chances to hit the bar, a couple of misplaced passes, Lookman wasted a few sort of passes like through balls and things like that, and I don't know, it was just, yes, we've got enough, and I dare say we do have enough, but I do think they'll have their chances at the Emirates, and I don't think it's nailed on, although I am more confident at home. But I think, look at Bournemouth, I don't know.
Yeah, look, it's fair, and I think my counter to that would really be that obviously we had chances as well that were wasted, misplaced passes and just wrong decisions, and Martinelli was number one for doing that.
Oh yeah.
So we did have chances as well, and I feel like even though we did miss some of our opportunities and the wrong decisions that went against us, sort of thing. Controversially or not, I know what I think about it, like, and where I stand with it. So I feel like, yeah, it was wrong decisions. Even with all of that, we still managed to get a draw, and dare I say, was a little bit comfortable. I will admit that in the second half, they did obviously come out a little bit stronger than they did in the first half, and it almost looked like they were going to pin us back to our, I think you used the phrase, what is it, reverting to type. You said that on the group, didn't you? And it almost did that. But I don't think our performance was that bad last night. You know what I mean? I don't think it was sort of like Arsenal, like characteristically Arsenal performance. I feel like it was just a little bit better than that, sort of. So instead of just pinning us back, we had balls like Declan Rice and Zubimendi. They were always looking to go forward, and that was really good to see. I really enjoyed that. I personally enjoyed it. Look, of course I was frustrated with some of the stuff, but overall, like I said, I feel we did a lot better and a little bit more promising from us, and especially in Europe. And sorry, I will just end it with this, by the way. Yes, the Bayern PSG match was a 9-goal thriller, right? Brilliant. But at the end of the day, all that tells me is that defensively, both teams are very weak, and they are. It's not even just because they were facing each other; they are defensively quite weak. And you remember that, that saying where it's like, strikers attack wins you games and defense wins you titles. I'll be honest, right? I feel like that's what Arsenal may be doing in the Champions League. I'm just saying, right? Because yes, okay, our attack isn't like the PSG or the Bayern, but defensively and in the midfield, if Rice and Zubimendi are rested before that match, sort of thing, let's say in the final, I feel like we're quite strong positionally there. And we may obviously, and sometimes our strikers, our attackers score goals. You know what I mean? Maybe sometimes that happens, but I feel like defensively we're quite strong. And I don't know, man. I don't know. That just sort of popped into my head earlier, like as I was driving home, as you do normally. You think about these things with no stake in the game, by the way. I do not manage this team. So, but yeah, I just thought that. I thought like, yeah, great game. Of course it was, but at the end of the day, like the game that we played last night, that wasn't exactly a boring match. Like even relative to the PSG match, I don't think it was boring. It was different. Tactically, it was different, but it wasn't like a boring match. Both teams didn't just sit back. And
you're right.
That I'm glad to see. So yeah, sorry, yeah, I'll round off with that.
No, I kind of get what you're saying about, defences and things like that. But I could also, flip that back on you and say, look, that both attacks are completely superior to anything that we've seen in God knows how many years. Like that, the attacking flair on both teams, no defence is going to cope with them.
Sorry,
when you think about it.
We have beaten Bayern and PSG,
Yes.
So, sorry, I'm just saying, they did have the same players. It's not like they put out a weak side against us in the early rounds.
But I agree with that, and we did. And I mentioned
one game, isn't it? One game in the final.
I went to my mate last night, and we were all talking, and I said, we've beat Bayern, we beat Atletico, but we beat PSG last season, and then it's like peaking. It's like City seem to be peaking, and we're kind of we've peaked, and we're just doing that now. We peaked before Christmas. That's my frustration, and that's just down to the management of the team, etc., etc. But anyway. I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, maybe in Europe, the games are slightly better for us because the opposition open up more to us, and I think that's what I was trying to allude to before, whether it was on the whether I was talking to my mates or whether I was on the group chat. That in Europe, it's like you say, we haven't lost, have we? I think we've won 10 and drawn 1 or something. Definitely, I've drawn 2. We've done really well, but is that because the opposition open up? Whereas in the Premiership, they seem to sort of be afraid of Arsenal because we're top of the league, whereas in Europe it's like, we're just as good as them, we're going to open up, we're at home.
Which favours us, no?
It does, and that's why we seem to play better in Europe, don't we?
But that's exactly what I mean. So it's not necessarily down to just the attack. For example, the attack of Bayern or PSG. Because we haven't had that all season. Even at our sort of peak in the Champions League, we still didn't have that same attacking power. Do you know what I mean? And we still managed to make it through, and that's mainly down to the way that we've defended and the way that we've controlled matches. Really, like you said, 2 draws, one against Atletico and the other one against Leverkusen. Not bad teams, but we've managed to beat them both. Whether that's in the earlier rounds or whether in the knockout stage, whatever it was. So that's what I'm saying. It's the way that we play in Europe. I like that because the defensive side of it, I feel like it confuses most European teams. It's like, oh, these guys, okay, I don't know how to play against these. I've watched highlights of Atletico against Barcelona and even in earlier rounds where they've cut through teams and they're scoring 4 or 5 goals. Do you know what I mean? But against Arsenal, they didn't do any of that. Yeah, they had the chances, but shit, like I said, so did we. So it's not like they were not superior compared to us. We were not superior compared to them. We were maybe a little bit better than they were sort of tactically and formation-wise and the way that we used our squad. But that's why I feel confident coming out of that match.
The thing is, I agree with that, and I do see part of the argument, but at the same time, they don't have a Dembele, a Elise, a Kvaratskhelia. They don't have that type of player in their team, apart from Alvarez, who, yes, he was great, and I personally thought that they lost their impetus when he went off, and we then grew back into the game and dominated it from the moment he went off. But look, a one-off game, anything can happen, and who knows? It depends if our defence is on their A game. If there's mistakes in there, Saliba did a few mistakes last night. As good as he was, but he made some really strange mistakes for someone who's so good. Trossard came on. Please don't let him start any more games. It just didn't suit him. It was too fast for him, wasn't it? The game
he wasn't ready for it.
Work.
It wasn't ready for it.
I'm glad that he came on just to give you the rest. I'm glad Jesus came on, which was a shock, and I'm glad Saka came on just to give the others a rest, because they just looked like a sheep in headlights in the kind of thing. Or whatever the term is. They
did, and especially the beginning of the second half. Once Madrid sort of I think. I'm sorry, we just jumped ahead, but let's just, before we get to the second half and stuff like that, let's talk about obviously the goal, Gyökeres penalty. In general, by the way, I feel Gyökeres played all right when he was on. I thought he was okay. He ran, man. He fought. Again, we know that he's not the best of footballers, but at the end of the day, he managed to create space, and that's what we've been saying about him all season. He's contributed, but his own little way, and obviously, there you go. There's that ball. I feel like if he wasn't pushed, or if he didn't feel that touch by the way, because we'll get to the penalty.
Oh, it was looking back on it,
right?
it was definitely a penalty, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was 100% a penalty, by the way. Like, I have absolutely no arguments there. But I'm saying, like, if he wasn't pushed or feel that touch to go down for the penalty, that's a goal. Right, he's got that under control. He's ready to shoot that, and I have no doubt that he would have scored from that range. So again, he did what he's needed to do. He's not going to do everything else. We may need him to do something extra. He may not do that, but he does his basics right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Ball pass gets the ball passed through. Feels a touch on the back. I know you said initially that was weak.
But it looked soft, didn't it?
It looked soft, and I
certain angles made it look worse than what it was. But then when you kind of see there was a certain angle and his body kind of did move quite significantly, and it was very clumsy from the defender. So
it was
penalty all day long.
It was more clumsy defending rather than clever attacking. But at the same time, like I said, that was clever because he felt that touch, man. Like he knew exactly what he needed to do, and that's the type of striker that we need, right? That's the type of striker. He'll take anything. He'll go to fucking ground whenever he needs to. And the fact that he was so sure to go to ground, even though I feel like that was more of a clear opportunity to score, it made sense. It's like, okay, yeah, well that's a penalty because I don't think he would have gone down otherwise because he wants goals, right? That's all he needs. So yeah, definitely a penalty. Soft, yes, absolutely, it was soft, but clever. Soft but clever. That's and soft, clever, and what did you say? Clumsy. That was the one. But yeah, so 1-0. I felt deserved at that point, right? We were playing better. Yeah, brilliant. So I enjoyed that, and I'll be honest, I don't think I went back on my sort of confidence. I don't like we scored. It's like, all right, cool, that's it now. Let's just try and get maybe another goal. But I'm happy with the 1-0 as long as the game is controlled, and we controlled it in the first half. So I had quite a bit of confidence for the second half for in that sense. But in Arsenal typical fashion, go out in the second half and just be pussies, basically. It's like, come on, boys. You know what I mean? Come on. I know maybe look, okay. Maybe there's a certain strategy out there that the managers use for the players. It's like, look, 10 minutes you're going to go high press, 5 minutes you're going to chill, 10 minutes you're going to let them go at you. Do you know what I mean? Is that a thing? Do managers do that to manage the game, to manage their players? I don't know. If it is, maybe change the parameters a little bit, right? Maybe just, don't add the rest at the beginning of the second half. Maybe go full intensity and then calm down a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do the opposite. But anyway, so that's the way I felt in the second half, to be honest.
I feel personally we've both played at obviously different levels of such. I don't know obviously where you've played and things like that, but I always found the second half for me, the intensity in the first half is exactly how I used to play. If you're getting beat if you win in the first half, your second half you come out and you're a bit more lethargic. You've got that Eze kind of way about you, but if you're getting beat, you want to come out and you kind of, it's like, look, this is our second chance. And maybe that's what happens with Arsenal. I don't know. It's every time because every second half that I've known us play, majority of the time we've come out and we've sat back. We've been fucking shit. Passive. Man City is a great example. And last night,
it's strange though, because I remember earlier on in the season where we were doing the opposite, where we were coming out and in the first 15 minutes we were going at teams, in the first hour, and then he changed and that was working. But maybe he had more options then. Maybe he has to sort of preserve some players for the upcoming matches, and again, very important matches, by the way. Let's not downplay the rest of the season, so yeah, look, 1-0, and then the handball happens. Like, what do we think of that? Obviously, penalty for them. What do you think?
Obviously, let's just go back to the end of the first half, beginning of the second.
Please. Yes.
Odegaard didn't come back out. Why didn't that? Was that an injury or was that tactical? Because he didn't look very happy, did he?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think I noticed that. Again, with Odegaard, I feel when he was shite. Yeah, he was totally trash, by the way. And again, you could see that in his face when he was subbed off, and you saw in the camera pan to him, you could see him sort of like doing all this. And because he knows that the captaincy band went to Rice instead of Gabriel, which I feel like that's a signal in itself. And hello, Real Arsenal Talk TV.
Absolutely.
You were right all the time.
And my conversations were Big Mick.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we got him on speed dial, mate. Speed dial. I've actually got one of his Lego heads. Anyway, so I think. Yeah, what were we talking about, by the way?
So obviously, I was on about Odegaard, that he didn't come out the second half, that he was a straight sub for Eze.
Maybe could have been a bit earlier, right? That was around the 60th minute, 50...
No, I think it was first half. He didn't come back out, did he?
Hold on.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
According to this, my friend, he was subbed off in the 58th minute. But... Don't feel too bad though, because it's a clear indication of where the fuck was he for 13 minutes unaccounted for. Where the fuck has he been?
I need to have it confirmed myself.
No wonder we were shit. We were playing with 10 players, man. Do you know what I mean? This guy was taking a shit in the background. But yeah, so yeah, he wasn't good, and I'm happy with Rice taking the captaincy band. To be honest, it makes sense. Because throughout the whole match, you could see how annoyed he was with players who weren't making runs. Do you know what I mean? 13 minutes unaccounted for. So he was shouting at Rice. He was shouting at players, and he was annoyed visibly with players. And I think I mentioned that in the group chat as well. So again, that leadership shone through, and I think he managed to sort of get the team going again, even though maybe a little bit late or whatever. But he managed to get the team back up and going again. And I feel like Odegaard doesn't have that mental capacity.
He's very strength. Physically weak, like we said. He's got no mental. He's physical. Eze got bashed around, but he did a turn.
He bounced. He was bouncing off people, man.
He wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he did this turn. It was just perfect. It was like Zidane-esque, wasn't it?
It was brilliant in the middle of the park. That was absolutely fucking brilliant. Yeah, even the commentators enjoyed that. But
awesome.
Good player, and I think if this is what he thrives on, this end of the season, then that's even fucking better for us, because he won't be too. He won't be too upset when he's not playing the majority of the season. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, we need you, mate. You just build up your strength, and then we'll unleash you from March onwards. But if that's the case, and he is the difference maker for us at the end of the season, whether it's the Champions League or the Premier League, then shit, what a fucking great signing that was.
He could be, couldn't he? He could be the difference, like you say, if we get the final. He could be the difference of that, like you say, we've said it before, the maverick in the team, couldn't he? Which, sometimes you can have too many great mavericks, also, we'd all love, a forward line like PSG and Bayern Munich, but sometimes you need a mixture, I think, of great mavericks like a Gaza, like a Cantona, with solid Keanes, Vieiras, that type of players that we've mentioned before, haven't we? You have to have the workers, the trackers back kind of thing, the hod carriers, have to have that so that the great players can do their magic. And
that's that's right. And I want that from Eze. I want Eze to be that difference maker. I know we've obviously wanted that for since the beginning of the season, which unfortunately I don't think he's shown that great side of him too often throughout the season. In all fairness, we can't be like, what an amazing season he's had. He's had
he's grown into the season.
And look, if he ends the season, like I said, strong Champions League or Premier League, he gets the winning goals or contributes more, then absolutely great season. But again, until that happens, it's been up and down for sure for Eze, whether that's been down to injuries or there was that period where he wasn't even selected for the team, and you think just before Christmas, wasn't it? It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, he is
after the Villa game.
He is the guy. I don't understand, but maybe punishment, maybe he's bounced back from that, thinking, okay, I know what I did wrong. Brilliant, and that's growth for me. That's good character for the players. So, and that's what we need. We need that around. We don't need, sort of people like Odegaard where it kind of feels like, I've been around for a long time and this is my time. It's like, no, you're still a team, and you're not doing that for the team. You're mostly doing it for yourself. I'm glad to see that, by the way. But Ben White, handball, yes or no? I mean, obviously it was handball because it hit his hand, but penalty, harsh. What do you think?
Yeah. I think obviously FIFA have made a rod for their own back, really, especially with the game the night before when it came off the guy's knee, like thigh, then hit his hand very, very harsh. The Bayern player, I can't remember his name. And again, it came off Blanco's kind of shin, I think it was, or calf or something, and then hit his hand. I think it's harsh, but I think, like you say, they've made a rod for their own back, and I personally think that yes, it's going to be given. It's handball, and but I don't know the true rules of the game because it was going wide. It's not as though it was preventing the goal. It was handball, but it was going completely wide. I don't know the true. You say you might be enlighten me on that, but with regards to the rules, is it handball regardless of if it's on target, or I don't know.
I think it's in the box, isn't it? So I don't think that sort of taking.
I don't know.
I don't think it's taken into account like the trajectory of it. If you handball it in the box, it's a handball, but you've handled it in the box basically.
Yeah. My knowledge is shit.
No, but I mean you're right because it is confusing, and you think yes, okay, the hand is. So no, the hand is in a natural position. It is because he's obviously leaning.
He's done that and he's tried to stop it with his hand.
And the thing is, you can see him turn when the ball's kicked anyway, and sort of like, and trying to, he's trying to balance himself. I feel so. Look, to say he handled it in the box is a bit unfair because that's definitely not what happened. But. Yeah, look, it was a visible handball at the end of the day, and I can't be too mad at that. And watching it, I don't feel like.
I think we would have got it if it was the other way around, and we would have been thinking, "Fucking hell, get in! I don't care about the opposition." It's harsh, isn't it?
It is. I think it is a bit harsh because. He was just trying to balance himself, and
yeah, he was.
And in the Premier League, he probably would have got away with that because like you said, maybe he touched a bit of the shin and then touched the hand whilst he wasn't even looking at the ball, like as in he was turning away from it. So it's not like he was sort of specifically putting his arm out there. But I understand why they give it, and maybe in Europe they're a bit more like a bit more strict. So yeah, fair enough. But so that's 1-1, and like we said, second half.
Great penalty, by the way.
Great penalty, yeah.
Great
penalty. Absolutely. Yeah, Raya didn't even move, did he? He was just like.
No, that was fantastic.
Just stared at it. So
yeah.
But yeah, sorry. By the way, you have to say that Gyökeres one was a great penalty as well. Like the amount of power he put behind it.
It was good, but
and through the hands of Oblak.
It was a good penalty, but I think Alvarez was 100 times better because I think even that, Raya thought myself, I'm not even going to move. It was past him that quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas, Oblak actually did dive and it went through his hands. It was that a mistake by Oblak because it should have been saved, really. But I don't know. I think Alvarez to me is
when you
what we need.
When you see the reverse angle of the Gyökeres goal, like from inside the goal sort of thing. The speed that the ball moves, you think it goes through his hands sort of thing, but what happens is it goes past him and then his hands sort of go out, do you know what I mean? So it's not like his hands were out and then it went through.
No, yeah.
But obviously because of the speed of it, like the reaction time is good from a goalkeeper of that level, but still not quick enough to react to that ball. So yeah, but absolutely, the Alvarez one was just like the keeper didn't even react. So that's infinitely a better penalty. But yeah, so 1-1, and like we said, they did come out a bit strong. They managed to come through us, mainly down the right hand side, to be honest, to the point where obviously Ben White was taken off and Mosquera was put on. So they did cause us some problems in the second half for sure. But a bit of combination of some decent defending, some Raya saves. It was fine.
Was it handball, that one? Do you know when Gabriel kept going? He was like nodding as if say it wasn't a Raya save. It was fucking me. I saved it. Did it hit his hand?
Is that the one?
I know his arms were behind his back, weren't they? But it hit his arm, didn't it? So where does that land? Because his arm was clearly out by his side, but his hands were behind his back. It was like that, wasn't he? But it hit his arm.
I thought it was close. I thought his arms were closer to the body, to be honest, if I remember correctly. I'm sure they were.
Well, they were behind his back, were they? But he still hit his arm.
But if he's going in like sort of like arms in, I suppose if but did it happen against Newcastle? Was it against Newcastle where he hit his shoulder? Where he did the same thing. He sort of leaned into it with his body, but it sort of clipped his shoulder. Was that against Newcastle or was that the match before? Yeah. I can't remember. Was it against City? I can't remember. But anyway, so he did the same. He did the same thing. But again, even watching that, I was like, "Is that a handball?" But then obviously hit his shoulder. So again, I'm not too sure on the other one, to be honest. I felt like his arms were closer to his body, and maybe that's why it didn't count. But yeah, I don't think that was anything controversial there, unfortunately for Athletic fans. But so obviously he makes a change, 3 changes. Trossard, Saka and Jesus come on for Martinelli, Madueke and Gyökeres. What, any issues there? Any issues with the changes?
No, because Martinelli was shite.
Yes.
But so was Trossard when he came on. I thought Madueke had a really good game, and I think he was frustrated. He got subbed off as he obviously when he saw him come, he was really annoyed. And I think Saka didn't really do much when he came on. I thought it was pretty poor and ineffective. Didn't think he did anything. Couldn't take his man on.
No.
Very, very poor performance from all subs. I think Jesus came on just as a kind of to give Gyökeres a rest.
Yeah. As a cameo, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm surprised he actually got a game, but who else was it to come on? So yeah, True. Get your boots on, son. Get yourself on. Yeah, I mean the subs were a bit meh, weren't they?
They were a bit meh. Yeah, no, absolutely, and I feel like that's probably the right phrase, the right phrase to be honest. But I think yeah, instead of Trossard, I probably would have preferred to leave Martinelli on, or if you're going to do anything, you move Madueke to the left and just give something different. Him and Saka on the same pitch, causing some shit. So yeah, maybe some differences there. The Gyökeres Jesus one. Yeah, all right, fair enough. It is what it is. Like you said, we've got no one else. So have a run out there. And maybe in Europe he's got a bit of luck. But unfortunately, no, he didn't really do much, did he? So
they pressed really well, to be fair.
They did. All match, by the way, all match they pressed really well.
They did. You could tell when Saka and Trossard came on, they were not up to speed. They didn't get into the flow of the rhythm of the speed of the game.
It was still too quick, wasn't it? Even at that time, like 20 minutes ago, it was still too quick.
They just couldn't get up to speed.
No, and do you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up because you're right. We pressed really, really well, and there was some instances where obviously by the end of by the time the second half was underway, sort of thing, you could see that some of our players weren't getting up there. Again, maybe that's what triggered the changes, but like you said, even the changes didn't get up there either. So and
my argument about Trossard as well, every time he receives the ball with his back to their opposition goal, he tends to sort of revert back and head towards our goal, and he lost it a couple of times, didn't he? And it was fucking hell, mate. Stop holding on to it. These are, world-class players.
Yeah.
It's not the Premiership, with average type of players. You get sometimes get caught out in the Premiership, but not against these. If he plays against PSG or Bayern, we'll get hammered. I'm sure, wasn't it Lewis Skelly did it against PSG in the quarters last year, fanning about with the ball and
they'll catch
gets dispossessed.
Yeah, they'll catch you. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're right. But yeah, look, in that second half, obviously, I don't want to say we were lucky or anything like that, but obviously Griezmann did hit the bar. Lookman had a chance. Raya stopped. So yeah, Raya at our save again. And I feel like at this stage in the season, no matter what happens, I feel like Raya should be the player of the season for us.
Lookman should have scored that though.
He should have scored that. He should have, but
either side.
Yeah, absolutely. But there you go. So, and that's why I say, he's definitely the player of the season for us. I don't think there's been anyone more consistent than he has
Possibly,
this season.
Yeah.
In all fairness, maybe Rice is obviously a good shout. Zubimendi could potentially. Maybe he had a good first half of the season.
It's Raya or Rice. It's the two R's.
It's going to be Raya then in that case. I think, like I said, he's been more consistent. He's probably going to win the Golden Glove again.
Unless he scores the winning goal to win as a Premiership or Champions League, then it's that person, isn't it?
It has to be. Yeah. Obviously, in our memories, it'll always be that person for the best player of the season. But in all actuality and fact, it'll probably be David Raya because, like I said, throughout the whole season. But yeah, of course, whoever scores the winning goal, even if it's like fucking if Norgard scores the winning goal in the Champions League final, shit, is a hero forever, man. Get that statue out there. Build that statue. You know what I mean? Get that chiseled jaw out there.
Legend, bigger than fucking Henry.
Yeah, well, damn, that's wow.
It would be, wouldn't he? Realistically, I mean, he didn't win the Champions League, and he didn't win the
I know, like, come on, I mean, you know what I mean? Don't be making me talk like that, man. Don't be making, you know what I mean?
I want Barry to come back.
I can't even get my words out. But yeah, so yeah, absolutely. Whoever scores will all obviously be the hero. And who do you hate from the team? Who is it that you hate?
Marino.
Even if he
Mikel.
came back and scored the winning goal, you would have posters of him right now behind you. You 100%.
I would go to bed with him.
Well, that's
literally with the magazine.
Obviously. Oh, okay, with the poster and stuff. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And cut.
Anyways, just before we do cut though, we do actually, I do want to talk about the controversial. No wait. The controversial decision. No. Whatever. As a foul penalty. Now, again, what do you think? Soft? First of all,
I've seen it a few times now, and I think they've had a penalty. Personally, I think when I first looked at it, I thought he's dived, he's wrapped his leg around the defender, but the more stills I see of it, and the more I see it in slow motion,
it was the defender's foot over, wasn't it?
He stood on his foot.
Yeah.
It was a penalty.
Even lightly, it doesn't matter. We're not saying on the severity, and the penalty is not given on the severity of the stamp. It was a foul. End of story.
It was the same as the Everton one on Havertz, wasn't it? Very similar to that.
Yes.
Where he stood on his foot. And luckily, we got away with that game, but
soft. Do you know what I mean?
It was a soft.
But either way, it's a foul, right? It's a touch in the penalty box when the player has the ball,
100%.
right? There's no way. The ref gave it, and again, I was in disbelief. I was like, "Fucking hell! I can't believe we got a second penalty. What's going on here?" The universe, the universe hates us because VAR intervened.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, look, man, and I'm not talking about Ademola, right?
I thought you were for a second.
No, but he's a good player. He's a good player. But yeah, I mean that's just clear controversy and clear wrong decisions from the referee.
It was a moment where we actually didn't bottle it, but the ref did.
Yeah. The ref absolutely bottled it, and I think when he went to the screen, I think that's when he sort of realised the crowd and Simeone being an absolute wank stain on the touchline. Honestly, what a disgrace, by the way, he is. What a disgrace. And I feel like, not just because, obviously, I support Arsenal, but I genuinely want Arsenal to, put 4 past them, just so they can shut that idiot up. Do you know what I mean? Just so the board can be like, all right, mate, you've had your chances, you've been to the finals 4 or 5 times now, or close to the finals, you're done. All right, you're not going to win the Champions League, get the fuck out of here. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen, and it's annoying, right? And he annoys me, and every time I see him, he really fucking annoys me. I can't believe at one point.
Times worse than Mikel.
Yeah, honestly, I can't believe at one point I wanted him at Arsenal. By the way, I really can't.
Yeah, I know.
So fucking glad about that. But yeah, because of all that pressure, there you go. Ref overturns it, and I think if Atletico get a goal there and it's 2-1 them, I feel like that's a bigger fuss. You know what I mean? That's a bigger deal than initially on the pitch. So in a way, I'm glad that it's 1-1 and I can live with that. Let's move on. And because I know we did enough, I feel like we did. Sorry, not enough. I think we did well or better than we have done to grind out that result. And then again, it wasn't a chaotic sort of match. It was a more managed, more stable match from us, wasn't it? More controlled match.
Absolutely,
so I'm happy with that. Obviously, like I said, 1-0, but yeah. So that for me, that's probably the biggest. Obviously, that is the biggest controversy of the match. And yeah, I mean,
look,
it could have gone the other way.
What worries me is, yes, it was 100%. It could have been a damn sight better. We could have gone there 2-1. The worrying thing is for me is, yes, we could win it. We could win it if we go 2-0 up very early on, or even 2-0 up halfway through the second half. What worries me is that they're a dirty bastard team, and they could get very physical and start kicking the hell out of us, which I did think they were going to do yesterday. But luckily, we injured their best player in Alvarez. But no, I'm worried that they'll become physical and dirty, which they're renowned for. And one of our main players could get injured. I don't know. Pep could have a word with some of the Spanish players. Go and injure this player. He's the most important That's me being fucking a proper cynic conspiracy nut, I know. But no. 1-1 is 1-1 better than 2-1? Because 2-1 you go into it thinking, oh well, all we have to do is fucking draw. Whereas 1-1 it's on a knife edge, isn't it? So it's a tricky one, that.
Yeah, I think, look, 2-1, obviously, all the way. 2-1 is 100% better to us. Sorry, not to them, of course.
Yeah, but you know what Arsenal like? Yes, to us, but to Arsenal them, and their fucking mentality when they go into a game.
No, I think... I think the 1-1 is going to be enough to get the team going, in all fairness, because it's right there. It's almost like a 0-0. It's like literally, it's a one-off game now. So
if it's 0-0 after 90 minutes, is it extra time?
Yes.
Does away goals don't count anymore?
No, away goals don't count. It's extra time.
That's
and
shit.
then penalties.
They'll be going for a fucking draw, won't they? They'll be coming for a draw.
I mean, they do have some quick players, so they could obviously try to catch us on the counter. You know, they invite pressure, they catch us on the counter, blah blah blah. It could happen, but I feel like again we're a clever team, man. Like, you know, let's not take anything away from our defensive abilities or capabilities. You know, we are very good. So I trust our defenders, and that's why, going back to what I said at the top of the episode, where obviously I like the idea of defense wins you championships, and that could be the way that we do it. You know, that could be the way that we do it. So instead of obviously scoring 3-4 goals, maybe we score 1-2 goals even in the Premier League, but we don't concede any. You know, Man City can score 3 goals but concede 2, for example, or 4. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather have the clean sheets, even if it's a 1-0 game. I'd rather have the clean sheets.
As long as you win something.
Of course. So yeah, I'm happy with the 1-1. After everything taken into consideration of what happened last night, I'm happy with the 1-1. I can live with it. It's a one-off match. I feel like one-off matches we've been quite good this season. Obviously, Champions League. So yeah, I think we'll have enough to beat them. Maybe even a 2-0 possibly could happen. But again, you know,
what was the score? So we played PSG in the quarters last year. Did we get beat home and away? Or was it a draw at the Emirates?
I think it was a draw at the Emirates, but we got beat.
They beat us 1-0 away.
Yeah, we got beat in Paris. Yeah, I think that's right?
Yeah, because Donnarumma had the fucking time of his life.
Yeah, he loved that shit, didn't he? Yeah, like literally, I think the gods were on his side.
Yeah,
and helped him with everything. So yeah, fuck that guy. But yeah, so go on.
Go on. No, I was just going to talk about individual players, about who had a good game, and I thought Hincapie played really well.
Yes, again, very good.
It's another couple of games that he's played excellent. Obviously, Rice played well. I did think Rice played really well.
Rice was really good,
Best position.
Like I said, I think Gyökeres,
really.
I think was quite good, to be honest. I think he made himself more active.
He did, yeah, he did.
And I like that. I like that because again, it's just that little bit of, you know, a focal point. Martinelli, I feel like the guy doesn't have a footballing brain, and we've said this for a long, long time. He's quick, he can score, but again, if his brain's not working, he can't do neither, or he can't do both.
He's not
at the
a
same
winger,
time.
is he? Really? He's not. No. He had the ball a few times, and he was one. And I said, my mate said, he's not a winger. He's not going to go past anyone here, is he? I think
Arteta missed a trick with Martinelli. To be honest, I think putting him as a striker, I think he would have been suited more for a striker because he can run behind. He's quick.
He's very quick.
And he can score goals, but again, I just don't think I think he's got too much to think about when he's out on the wing. And then by the time he gets to the finishing product sort of thing, he's run out of steam. Like his brain's like, no, that's it, we're done. You know what I mean? We're not going to do any more of that.
It's true, though.
It is true. And you can see it live, by the way. That's not even made up. You can actually see his brain working live. It's fantastic. But so yeah, I think there's a trick missed there with Martinelli, and yeah, he could be a nice backup striker, but you know, then you'll ask the question, who's going to be our main winger? So,
if we do sign someone, then I think he could be a backup striker. Because obviously, I think Havertz could potentially be on his way. I think Jesus could be on his way. I think he could keep Gyökeres, but I think they're going to get a backup. I think they're going to go for a worldy striker
if they can get one.
It's going to be.
Yeah, I think
they're going to go all out for either Alvarez or what's that face from Galatasaray? Can't remember his name.
Oh, Osimhen.
Yeah.
Again, are we still on? Or
Bertie was out there talking.
Wow.
He was watching the game, wasn't he?
Hey, hello. But I don't think, you know.
I think Martinelli could be a backup.
It could be.
Right.
It could be. I mean, yeah, I personally, there's only one player I want next season, and Kvaratskhelia, like without a shadow of a doubt, he is the guy.
We ain't getting him now.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You never know. Don't say that. Never say fucking never, man. All right. Don't be such a defeatist, for God's sake. All right. Just, you know.
Listen.
Be a winnist.
You know how good he is, right? Where's his best opportunities? He's going to always win the P. He's going to always win. He can go anywhere he wants. He could actually come to Man City, and imagine Man City with Doku.
He's not going to Man City if Pep's not there.
We'll have Doku.
He's not going to Man City if Pep's not there. Right? Let's just forget that shit. Soon as Pep leaves, Man City and their good players are disbanding, mate. Bye bye. Haaland's going, Silva's going, fucking Cherky may stay maybe another couple of seasons until like Barcelona come calling. He'll go. Mate, Man City are not going to be the same team as soon as Pep leaves. That's not going to happen. Maresca might win that season that he takes charge and he's still got the same players. Like the Klopp effect, the Klopp slot effect.
Yes, absolutely. The sloppy effect.
The sloppy effect, love it. The slop effect, yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's so good, by the way, the slop effect. So once they can have the slop effect, and we can trademark this. So, but yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. That's such a good line. Like, damn,
anyway, we were wishful
good.
thinking. We were dreaming about certain players.
Yeah, okay. So, and I'm not saying, by the way, these Man City players are going to come to us, but I feel like, you know, if Madrid have got Mbappe, they can't really go for Haaland. They don't have that sort of money. Barcelona can't afford to fucking buy anyone. They can't even afford to buy one of their own fucking seats, mate, in the stadium.
No, they're fucked, aren't they?
So who else is there? You know, is he going to stay in Man City? He could go Bayern, but like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do with that? Like, he may have a good Champions League run for sure, but you know, this is where the savviness of the executive board need to step in and be like, so what's going to happen when Pep leaves? By the way, let's have a chat with these agents. Let's see what's going on, because I'm sure they've had that conversation. I'm sure they've thought that. You know, it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen when he leaves? Man City are going to be the same team or not? Like, so anyway, enough of Man City.
They know that, don't they? That's what they must be doing. Everything in their fucking whatever they think they can do, bribing him. You don't know, do you? They could be threatening him for all we know.
Absolutely, mate. We don't know. Everything we say is speculation. We've said this before. We need to have a disclaimer.
For entertainment purposes, anyway.
Exactly. But look, so 1-1. Obviously, we're going to North London, and luckily it's on Amazon Prime. Other channels are available, obviously.
Yeah.
But so I'll be watching it on. I'll be watching it on there because I pay for that shit. So
we do.
Prediction then for. Oh shit! We got Fulham before that. Damn it. Okay.
Yes.
Do me a prediction for Fulham before we leave.
So this is how my stupid brain works.
Go on.
I was sunbathing the day. I was off today.
Yes.
And I was thinking the players will be back in England. I wouldn't have thought they'd be back training.
Okay.
They're going to be chilling today.
Yes.
Chilling, enjoying the sun.
Yeah.
Having a drink with the family.
That's what I want them to do, by the way.
Yeah. Tomorrow's going to be really, really warm.
It's going to be lovely.
They're going to have a light workout.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be like Dubai.
Yeah, we have a light workout. And I think they're going to be refreshed. I think they're going to be up for it.
I mean, coming back from Spain.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. That
they're going
feels
to be
like,
refreshed.
That feels like a nice little getaway. And you're saying they're back, but maybe they stayed and the wives were out there. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like a mini little holiday. It's like, all right, lads, you've got 12 hours. Yeah. Go out there in Madrid, do some shit, and then get yourselves back home. Quick rest, bit of fucking training,
bit of pina colada,
bit of fucking parma. No, wait, that's right. That's wrong. That's the wrong side of the country. But yeah, do you know what I mean? Go out to the fucking stadium and beat fucking Fulham. You no,
tell you what, stadium. No.
Shady stadiums.
The stadium looks fucking awesome, by the way, doesn't it?
Yes.
What's it called? The Metropolitan?
No, the Riyadh Airways Metropolitano Calderon Vincente.
Calderon. Well, Skinny Val, whatever.
It's called the Riyadh Airways Stadium.
Absolutely. It looked amazing, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did. It looked really nice, to be fair.
70,000 it was, isn't it?
Yeah, it
72,000. It
was quite high up, wasn't it? Like, if I remember correctly, like sort of steep.
It looked amazing.
It did look really good.
Wow.
Is that the new stadium, or is that like just an addition that they've made?
Is it what?
Is it a new stadium that they've made, or is it the same stadium that they've always had, like the Wonder Metropolitan?
Wonder Metropolitan, or what it was called. Yeah.
Metropolitan Wonder, fucking hell, City Wonder, mate.
I think psychologically, I think they're on a bit of a high after last night. I think normally, after the City game, after the Southampton game, I thought, fucking hell, the psyche's fucked. But then obviously they got it back against Newcastle, although it was a fucking horrible game. And last night was a proper. What are you looking at, the Metropolitan Canal?
No, I'm not looking at the Metropolitano. The Wonder. I'm looking at
like an ice cream or something. Yeah, I think the psychology will be
Napolitan, you fucking
Napoleon.
Napolitanian.
What's it called for all you listeners out there? It's called the Wonder Metropolitan.
Don't make me look. I'm not looking. I can't be. I'm not doing it. I'm going to do it. It's called the Riyadh Airways. I'm telling you right now. That's what it's called because I looked at it yesterday. Atletico Madrid Stadium. The Riyadh Air Metropolitano. That's what it's called.
So that must be a new.
Yeah, of course it's a new thing. It's the money. Money. That's what it is. Let me say it again. Money. So there you go. Right, cool. Look, Stevie. Sorry, yeah. Give me your fucking prediction, please, because we just got sidetracked about being on holiday in Madrid, and we're talking about Wonder like we know this bitch.
Stadium capacity. Ew. Atletico Madrid stadium capacity.
I can't believe we're not sponsored by Riyadh Airways, by the way, like at all. Let's just leave it to the fans, to their fans.
70,692.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for that information.
Prediction for Fulham or prediction for Atletico?
Fulham first, real quick, and then Atletico even quicker.
Fulham, nervous 4-0. No, I think...
Jesus Christ, this guy.
I think a 2-1.
Okay, I can see that. I can see a 2-1.
I think it's a nice... it could be a dominant 4-0 or a nervy 2-1.
I'm going to go 3-1.
I'm going with a nice... As long as it's 3 points, isn't it? Like we always say.
Of course. This is
Nothing
just...
matters.
This is just trivial, really. But yeah...
It'd be nice to be 10-0, but obviously it's not going to happen, so...
Of course. But that's good. That's fair. Like you said, this is just trivial anyway, so we don't really care in the grand scheme of things.
No.
I'm going to go with a 3-1 to us. I feel like that whole rest thing is going to come into play. To Fulham, but I'm just kidding. Obviously to us, yes. So yeah, 3-1, I think, and then confidence going into the Atletico game, which leads us nicely into your prediction for that match.
As Mr. T would say, prediction, Bean. Potential penalty check for Nottingham Forest, is it?
Go on. You're doing a thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing the thing that we talked about earlier. You're doing the thing that we talked about earlier.
I'm doing it, I know, yeah. I do it on purpose.
You're doing that guy.
I'm going to confidently predict a very, very, very nice final to us, regardless. We're going to the final.
That's fair. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. That's a good prediction.
For score. I'm just saying we're going to the final.
That's fair. I'll go with that prediction. That's good. We'll go to the final. There you go. Look, that'll be fun, man. That'll be fun, even to be in the final. No, fuck that.
Where's the final? Is it Istanbul or Paris or something? Where is it?
Don't say that. Where did we fuck up last time? Was it Paris? I think it was Paris when it 06. Shit. 2026 Champions League final is going to be in the Puskás Arena in Budapest. Budapest. I love me a bit of Budapest. I've been there twice. I love that place, by the way.
Nice.
I really like it.
Very nice.
So, okay. Well, I don't think we've got any bad omens in Budapest. I'm sure we can build something if we go to the final, but hopefully that's a good one. But anyway, obviously we'll be here. We'll be back. And if we do go to the final, we'll discuss it in detail. And obviously we'll be here hopefully after winning the final. But until that time, Stevie, thank you so much, my friend, for Are you gonna mouth it? Do it. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna hide my mouth behind the mic. You don't know what I'm gonna fucking say. I'm gonna keep it a mystery. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, for being here, everyone.
Stay safe.
And stay safe, stay alert. And Stevie, send us out. Yeah, all that stuff.
Au revoir. Oui, oui. CC. Arrivederci from Barry White.